Hello everybody, welcome back to Asura Psych. I'm Asura, and today we're going to be talking about which types naturally get along with the INTJ, or which types are more likely to be able to naturally get along with the INTJ, and why I think that. So there are a few types that I think naturally get along really well with the INTJ personality type. There's three that I think get along with the INTJ type very well, and then there's a few runner-ups that I think have the potential to be natural good communicators with INTJs or good friends, but are probably going to hit a few rough patches in the communication process. So the types that I think are very likely to get along with the INTJ are INFPs, INTPs, and INFJs. Now, why are these types likely to get along with the INTJ? Well, because with INFPs and INTPs, they have secondary extroverted intuition. They speak the language that INTJs think in. They both have this very natural connection through the intuition process. And when this connection is established between an INTJ and an INP type, their communication is going to flow very naturally. One of my closest friends is an INFP, and there is nobody else on this planet that I communicate more naturally with than with him. When we talk, I feel almost like an extrovert. I'm laughing, being very outgoing and talkative with him. And that's something that doesn't happen with almost anybody else. And that happens the most with INFPs, in my opinion. Now, I have other close friends who are INTPs as well, but INTPs are likely to come along or run across the problem of the thinking functions competing with each other with the INTJ and the INTP, because INTJs are very outward and objective with their thinking styles, and INTPs have this very inward logical style of thinking, and when they clash, it can be very hard for the two types to come to agreements. But that being said, if they can kind of learn how the other communicates naturally, then they can really get that intuitive communication style going. And it's going to be very easy for these two types to naturally communicate. Now, INFJs are a lot like INTJs, but INFJs also have dominant introverted intuition. And because it's introverted, these two types are unlikely to naturally be able to communicate their introverted intuition to each other unless they really know the other person. But with an extroverted intuitive type, like an INTP or INFP, they're going to be able to naturally get that intuitive process going. They're going to be able to start the stream of ideas and creativity between the two intuitive types. Now, you might be asking, why not ENFPs? Why not ENTPs? And in my opinion, ENFPs and ENTPs tend to be a little more, or a little too much for INTJs at times, because INTJs, being dominant introverted intuitives, really like to kind of focus down on one idea at a time, unlike extroverted intuitives. But because extroverted intuition is secondary in the INFP and INTP, it's very easy for them to be able to kind of slow down for a moment and not shotgun out ideas and new topics like ENFPs and ENTPs do. A lot of people will say that ENFPs are kind of the ideal matching type for INTJs, and I wouldn't say that's not unlikely, because I think ENFPs are very likely to get along with INTJs as well. But in my opinion, INFPs and INTPs are probably going to be the two types that INTJs are most likely to get along with well. Now, in my personal life, three people who are very close to me are ENFJs, and I think this is because they also have that intuition thing going on, but feeling can clash with thinking, especially when both of them are in the extroverted form, and this can cause disagreements because ENFJs place a whole lot of value on their values as people and then the values of those around them and maintaining that social harmony. And this isn't as true with INTJs, who are kind of just focused on the self more. Now, all of that said, I think it's very important to note that an INTJ can be close friends with anybody, but those types that tend to express intuition are going to be the types that I think are going to be naturally able to get close to the INTJ. There's an example I always think of, a skit from the Key and Peele show, where there's the two valet guys and they're talking with each other and doing crazy wild things and just running around in circles talking about how excited they are about their favorite TV shows and the ideas associated with them. And that is a scene that I always say that my INFP and friend and I look like when we're talking with each other. I can get really outgoing and social when somebody brings that intuition out of me and kind of gets the idea going. And I can be laughing. And that really is just because if you can bring out that dominant intuition from the INTJ, you're really likely to get them to engage with the conversation because that's their favorite thing to do. We are creative, intuitive people at heart, and that's what we like to do and what we like to talk about. But people tend to misthink or have misconceptions about the INTJ because with extroverted thinking, they think we're thinking types. They think we always want to be logical and analytical, but that really isn't true. The INTJ, first and foremost, is a creative and relaxed, easygoing type who kind of just uses that secondary extroverted judging process to really just shape and make sure their life is maintained. Another type that I find myself naturally communicating with, surprisingly, is ISTJs, and I think it's because of that dominant introverted perceiving way of engaging with the world. Both types tend to be very laid back and relaxed, and because they both have secondary extroverted thinking and tertiary introverted feeling, they're both likely to be kind of somewhat objective and also not very prone to discussing things related to feelings. I have an ISTJ coworker friend, and we don't hang out very often compared to as much as, say, my intuitive friends outside of work. But when we do hang out, it's really just kind of like this simple thing where I'll go over, we'll watch TV, play video games, maybe have a pizza or something. But those types of friendships are actually somewhat valuable to me as an INTJ, to have that kind of friend where I can just go hang out with them and not do anything. We don't have to, we're not even really talking or engaging with each other. We're just chilling. Those types of friends are also valuable to me as an INTJ as well. Now, other than that, though, that's really all I have to say on this topic. I hope you have enjoyed this video. This has been Asura at Asura Psych. Have a good one.